Welcome back to the Pull Podcast. I am your host, Big Jack. Today with us, we have a very special guest, Captain Sandy Yawn. Welcome to the show, Captain.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I mean, I can't believe you flew out here all for this.
Well, I'm on City Cruises Live tomorrow, so it actually works out.
Okay,
right?
Good. Well, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at some of our content, but we deal with real stories, raw struggles, and powerful comebacks.
It's incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. We're really trying to get out there and spread hope and inspiration regarding people that may be suffering from addiction or, looking to get in recovery, maybe on the fences. And people with your platform have a wonderful opportunity to not only present it, I'm sure you carry yourself, a certain way and people see that. And that's attractive. I know there was one episode there with a guy named Travis where you got to, not necessarily a 12-step call, but you were able to talk about it. And I think that's important, right? And because I think a lot of people have so much shame that they end up not wanting to talk about these things. But there's a lot of really successful, ordinary, but people in recovery that have wonderful lives as a result. And everybody thinks their life is going to be over for some reason.
I'm not sure why, because I'm living a life beyond my wildest dreams.
Right?
It's exactly what I was told when I, first of all, I was, very young when I started this road on addiction. I was on that merry-go-round for many years, started at 17 and, I got arrested. My first arrest was 17 or maybe even a little younger. I was arrested 14 times.
Wow.
In and out of institutions.
Sure.
12-step programs, just couldn't get it. And then I finally got it, got sober and got a job washing boats, answered an ad in the paper, had to pay all my fines. And then owner offered me a full-time job on a boat. And that's how that started. Mm-hmm. And I have a sponsor today. I go to meetings. And I love God, it's a big part of my life.
Sure.
And I just want to do the next right thing. And I know I've been put on television for a reason, to help people. And, the Travis, when that aired, I got thousands of messages, and I'm not exaggerating. Thousands of messages on how to get sober and what do they do? Where do they go? And I love that there are podcasts like this that to tell people there is a solution.
Sure.
And you don't have to keep living like that. And I remember I was on that merry-go-round.
Yeah, 17. That's pretty early. So you were in high school when you first got arrested. What was it, a DUI?
DUI. But I was actually in 7th or 8th grade when I did my first 714.
Which is?
A Quaalude.
Oh.
It was the magic bus ride. And it was peer pressure. My friend gave it to me and said, try this. And it was truly the magic bus ride. And that led to the next drug and the next drug. And
Quaalude is a barbiturate, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But my drug of choice was pot. And I tried everything and alcohol.
Mm-hmm. Alcohol seems to be the common theme amongst a lot of addicts. Yeah. There's always that alcohol in there, probably because it's legal and you can get it anytime up until 2 a.m., at least in California.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It was easy to get, but then it led to other drugs.
Sure. The gateway.
Yeah.
So what happened? Do you mind starting a little bit in your early life? I don't want you to.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Alcohol and drugs. My mom was an alcoholic. Okay. My uncle was an alcoholic. It was an alcoholic family.
It is a family disease.
That's right. And I got the gene. Mm-hmm. I picked up my first one was that bus ride, smoked a lot of pot, drank a lot of alcohol from 13 on, and in and out of jails and institutions. I was arrested so many times. And in detox, the 72-hour holds, the 96-hour holds. I learned that system well.
Yeah.
And it kept me out of jail because I would just say, I'm an alcoholic. I need to go to treatment. Mm-hmm. And I manipulated the system so it worked in my favor. And people got burned out. They were like, they started closing doors.
Sure.
No. They caught on. I started going to, I went to a lot of meetings because I was court ordered to, mandated.
12-step meetings?
12-step meetings. I had a lady, she smoked these Moore cigarettes. Her name was Al. Mm-hmm. And we'd play backgammon for hours because I didn't have a job.
Sure.
I'd just go to meetings, hang out at the clubhouse, drink all the coffee. And
A lot of coffee.
And she said, Sandy, I'm going to say this. Alcoholics Anonymous is for people who want it. I wish it was for people who needed it. And she goes, why don't you bring back some of those white chips? Because we need it for people who want it.
Wow. What were the white chips? 24 hours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I that hit me. And then I, kept going, ended up, was in different counties, different treatment centers, ended up in Broward County, Fort Lauderdale, in jail again, in this halfway house called Stepping Stones. And the director said I wasn't worth the paperwork.
Wow.
Because I kept going in and out. And so
it's a little harsh.
It was harsh.
You think you needed to hear it?
I needed to hear it.
Okay.
And I thought to myself, oh my God, no one's ever told me that.
No.
Bring back the white chips. It's for people who want it, not people who need it, but not worth the paperwork.
Yeah.
And then I went back every day asking, could I come back in? And finally she said yes, under these conditions. I had to give her my paycheck every week because every time I got paid, I'd relapse.
Sure.
And I gave her my paycheck. I got $5 a week to live on, to pay for $1 a meeting that I went to for the basket.
Nice.
It was rough.
No, well,
but listen, I did it.
Yeah.
And I stayed clean. And that was my last 1989, August 29th was the last time I picked up. And thank you, Linda, for doing that for me. And then I haven't stopped because I love the life. I worked at 12 Steps. I had a sponsor for many years. And then I moved. I got another sponsor right away. And that, working those 12 steps and maintaining 10, 11, and 12 is the key to life for me. I can only speak for me.
No, it's so funny. I could actually hear my sponsor in the back of my head telling me, did you do 10, 11, and 12 today? It's like, that's our daily maintenance, right?
Yes.
Figuring out what we need to clean up, that spot check inventory, a little prayer and meditation, and then try to help somebody,
That's right. It's threefold, right? Yeah. So
trust God, clean house, help others.
That's it. It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's that easy. But what is it? Why is it so hard to get there?
I remember being in treatment. I went to 2 28-day programs. I needed a long, slow process, right? And the willingness to do that. I had to lose all my hustle. If I had even a wink of hustle left, or I thought I had a little hustle left, there was no way I was going to follow any direction to anybody because I still got this, right? I had to get to the point where I was homeless and had no next move, right? No next move. Grateful that somebody was able to put me in a place where I could at least have a roof over my head, food in my belly, and be safe.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was completely comfortable creating wreckage all left and right. That wasn't, I didn't have a problem with that because I was in my disease. But I think once somebody, 28 days, that might be enough to clear the head a little bit, but then the real work happens, right? And so I just think, I don't know, I'm a big advocate for long-term treatment personally, whether it's an AA or any other 12-step program or, whatever it is, religion. I hear that all the time too. Whatever it is, there's got to be a discipline. There's got to be a routine. There's got to be something that goes along with it. There's got to be a lot of action, right?
Mm-hmm. I like that because for me too, 28-day programs really work because it set my routine. I really like that. I had a sponsor, Terry. She was tough. I needed the tough love.
You and me both.
I needed it. And she didn't play around. And I love that she took the time with me. She taught me how to write a check. She taught me how, we went to open a savings account. She taught me how to manage my money. She taught me, wake up, hit your knees, take a shower. Those things I needed to hear. Eat breakfast, go to work, come home, go to a meeting, take a shower, hit your knees. Thank God for help, for the day. Exactly. I needed that.
Wash, rinse, repeat.
Absolutely. And that worked. And I think today, that's how I get through days. I go, okay, this is what I have to do first, second, and third.
Well, I think one of the things that's not talked about a lot, and this just is my opinion, but for somebody like me, they talk about neural pathways, and they talk about the fact that, if you're waking up and the first thing you do is drink in the morning, which is what I did, and then figured out the rest of the day after that, that's a neural path. That's a thing that I did, and it became automatic. It wasn't even a thought, right? It's just the thing I did. It's sort of like brushing your teeth or taking a shower. It's like taking a drink. So, they talk about habits. It takes at least 60 to 90 days or something for a new habit to take place, right? And then I don't know how long it takes to unlearn something. That's the other part of it that they don't talk about very much. But creating those routines where you're doing what you just said, you got to do that 60 to 90 days in a row, which is why I'm an advocate for like longer term treatment, or at least some sort of rigidity, some sort of structure and accountability is so helpful in the early stages. But the willingness has to be there too, right?
That's right.
That's the hard part. We talk about being honest, open, and willing, but that's where the rubber meets the road. Is the person willing to go to any lengths?
Yeah. And the false pride, you got to get rid of that, right? So it's like I see it in my life, and I'll never forget. I was at a meeting. I've learned everything that I do today. I've learned from someone else, sitting in a meeting, listening
100%.
in a meeting. So I heard this girl share, and she was very vulnerable, and she just said she didn't know how to do it. And I thought, oh my God, it's that simple. I just have to say I don't know how to do it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. And someone will help me.
Mm-hmm. I don't have to fake it. Like I don't have to think, oh yeah, I have to know how, that I can actually not know how to do it and say that and then get help. That was hard.
And newsflash, you're not the only person that doesn't know how to do that or didn't know how to do that at one time, right?
Exactly.
We always think that we're going to look a certain way, like, oh, they're going to think I'm dumb, or, oh, they're going to do this. And that's why people don't ask for help. Honestly, they're going to think I'm weak and I couldn't control this, or like whatever it is. And it's like, dude, asking for help is where the power begins.
Yes. And it's the magic. I'm telling you, like I always say, because I'm on television now, and, the cameras don't hide anything.
No, ma'am.
You have to be authentic because the camera doesn't lie. And so I always say to people, just lean into your mistake. Mm-hmm. It's okay. You made a mistake. You're not a bad person.
You're a human being.
You're a human being. Just learn from it. And that's what I do every time. When I make a mistake, I lean into it because I didn't do it on purpose.
Right.
I didn't do it to hurt anyone.
There was no malice.
Not at all, because I want to be a good human being, but I'm not perfect. And I make mistakes. I fired Hannah. The way that went down on the show, there was pot involved, and it was very difficult. It was very difficult for me. And I wanted her to know that I actually care.
Yeah.
And we're on City Cruises Live. Like, we have full circle, made amends, and we're great today.
I love that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did she get help? Or did she need help? I should be able to,
well, that's for her to say. Yeah, exactly.
Good call.
Yeah. So I just want to continue to be that example. And even in my relationship, it's the communication. Everything that people see on television, they go, oh, you're a great leader. You're this, you're that. Well, I just practiced the 12 steps and everything that I learned.
Amen.
I think just stay humble. I don't have to know everything. Lean into when I make mistakes. Ask for forgiveness, make amends, and continue to move forward. Mm-hmm. Don't stay stuck in the past. Don't carry that crap into today. Mm-hmm. And that's what I try to do. And I just want to be that example and stay connected to my higher power and to my friends. Yeah. Because my friends call me out. Yeah. They go, you're not the captain here today.
Yeah. What's going on? There's something going on.
Yes.
You're not your bubbly self.
Yeah.
You want to talk about it? I get that all the time. My sponsor's like, hey, you seem off. Everything good? And it's like, and I've learned that, like, just saying what you said, I don't know, right? Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I just, I didn't sleep good. Like, there's usually a reason, but if there isn't, then that's a good opportunity to check where I'm at. It's usually a motive thing, right? It's usually some sort of motive, or like me feeling a certain type of way or hurt over something that I'm not talking about, and maybe you need to do some work around it, whatever it is. But yeah.
Yeah, and you get in that headspace.
Oh, dude, the headspace is the worst. I mean, rabbit hole central.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like, I always say to when I'm around people, I can tell. Like, even in my relationship, I'm like, just sit in your car and play a good song, because it takes you out of that.
It does.
You can either go down it or you can bring it back up.
Yeah.
And music is a tool for me, because we got to find those tools, right, to help us shift that way of thinking.
I'm so glad you said that, because I feel the same way. Sometimes I'll just hop in my car and go for a drive. I do my best thinking in the car, but I also notice, like, if I listen to country music, I'm going to want to kill myself, right? And not because I hate it, but because, like, it's usually kind of depressing in some cases. If I listen to a little bit of house music or whatever it may be, maybe some rap music, I don't know, like, I'm usually in a better mood than when I got in the car.
Exactly.
And it does. It changes your mood quick. I like that. I'm glad somebody actually said that on there, because it is a good tool.
Yeah. I've been listening to Drift Away because I kind of want to drift away lately, because I've been so busy. And then I was listening to Southern Cross. Mm-hmm. all these boat songs because I haven't, yes, I do the show. I drive a boat for a little bit, but I'm ready to like go to sea again.
Yeah.
Because there's something peaceful about it. There's no distractions. The only thing you're focused on is driving that boat. You're out in the middle of the ocean and you look up and there's the stars. The connection is so cool.
I love being by the water. I feel like there's something very healing about it. I do. And I live right here in Sausalito. So, being close to the water, I go for walks down down Bridgeway. And if I'm not near it all the time, on the weekends, I like to go visit other places. I love hearing the waves. There's something soothing about that. Yeah. It's powerful. I wish I could be on a boat more often.
Yes, me too, actually.
So because you're on a boat so much, would you actually want a vacation on a boat? Do you do that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm usually working.
Okay.
I would love to like just chill.
And have somebody else be the captain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This segment of the Pull Podcast is brought to you by Creekside Recovery. So let me go back here real quick because you said that you started washing boats. What I believe is super cool about when people get sober is they develop a passion for something. Would you say that, did you know that you were going to become a captain when you started washing boats or that you were going to, but you fell in love with it?
Yes.
So tell me about that.
Yeah. So, I didn't have a career. I didn't have an education. I was kicked out of 11th grade. I was trying to survive. I was in and out of drug and alcohol institutions, halfway houses, 3/4 way houses, had to get a job, answering an ad in the paper.
Yep.
Started washing boats. I thought this is really cool. I can listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
I can get a suntan.
Yeah.
I'm getting exercise and I'm making money and I have no one over me.
Right.
As long as I do a good job, I'll be good. Right. So, when you get sober, it's like you're firing on all cylinders, right? Or clean, whatever it is. And you just want to do the best job ever. And it feels good to do hard work.
Sure. Well, you get to see the results.
Yes.
Right? It's like making your bed in the morning. You get to, or keeping your house clean, whatever it may be. Like you get to see the results real time. There's something very gratifying about that. Like, I don't know if it's like I did that, but like every time I walk by my bed when I'm in my house, it's like, yeah, this is a good feeling.
Yeah. It's a great feeling. So here's a cool thing. So I was working the steps. I learned that word integrity because I remember I had this resentment against this person in recovery because they said, Sandy has no integrity. I didn't know what the word meant.
Wow.
So I looked it up and I was like, well, they're right. So I learned what it meant to have integrity.
Mm-hmm.
So God gave me the opportunity to practice. This guy hired me, Steve. I worked for a company called Plan Maintenance Systems, washing boats. An owner, one of his clients, came out and offered me a full-time job as a crew member. I could have taken that job.
So it was competition. It was his competition?
It was his client.
Oh.
I could have taken his client. So integrity came to mind. Oh, this is what that means. Mm-hmm. So I went back to Steve. I finished my job and I said, hey, your client offered me a full-time job. I'd like to take it, but he's your client. I don't want to, do the wrong thing. And he goes, take it. He's an asshole anyway.
Did you take it?
He told me to.
Okay.
So Steve said, take it. So I learned what integrity meant.
Well, yeah, at least giving him the option, right?
Yes, exactly. I didn't steal his client. And that guy sent me to C school. I worked really hard. He taught me finance.
Wow.
He taught me budgeting. I used to have to go to his office and learn Excel. So I had an education through John. Mm-hmm. And my first time on a cruise was to the Bahamas ever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually earning money. I'm going to the Bahamas. It was really cool.
Sounds cool.
They're buying my food.
Yeah.
I didn't, it was really cool. So, I still stayed in touch with my friends in recovery. Right. And then I just advanced. I continued. The boats got bigger. I got more job opportunities, still going to meetings, sponsor. Still in school, C school, all these owners were sending me. And then next thing you know, all these years later, I've had a big career, was in Europe. I did meetings over there, still had my same sponsor, stayed in touch. And then I just advanced in my career And I haven't stopped because I keep doing the next right thing and taking care of myself mentally, spiritually, and physically.
It is crazy to think. I feel like just so many good things happen when you're in recovery for some reason. It's probably because we're putting out what we end up receiving, right? Because we put that out into the atmosphere. There's a reciprocation that happens. So the guy doesn't sound like too much of an asshole then if he was putting you in school and all that stuff.
Well, he's a hard guy to work for.
Okay, well,
he's a finance guy.
Sometimes those are
he was hard.
Okay, well, sometimes those guys are like the best to learn from, right?
Yes, I learned a lot.
If you can put up with it.
Yes, I did. We're still in each other's life today.
Amazing.
Yes, 36 years later,
So cool. He must be so proud of you.
Yeah, of course. Yes. But and the show came to me.
Well, I was just going to ask about that. What was the intro to the...
So I was in a relationship. My heart was broken. I got hit by a car. I was on a motorcycle headed to the boat show to meet that guy, John, because he was buying another boat. Mm-hmm. I wasn't working for him at the time. And I was on a motorcycle doing 70 miles an hour and a car pulled in front of me.
Jesus.
Just February 21st. The 23rd was my 50th birthday. I was going to have a big birthday party and I ended up in the hospital. Shattered pelvis. God saved my life again. I felt the presence of my mother, like it was slow motion flipping in the air. Why I'm still here is because I'm meant to do what I'm doing.
I agree.
So I'm in the hospital. The person breaks up with me, dumps all my mail on my lap. And I was like, it was just things, doors were closing because I didn't know how to close the doors. Yeah. They were shut for me because I'm meant to be in a different direction, right? In that moment. I didn't know that. It was the end. I was like, I felt shattered, but God had a plan.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. That door closed, and the below deck opened.
How did that come to?
I got a phone call. A comedian knew the showrunner and said, "Hey, you need a woman captain." She goes, "Oh, like, one." So they Googled me. I had, because I had been in this career for a while and they found out I'm real and they contacted me and everybody was telling me not to do it. I don't know why. And I thought maybe not. And then I thought when a door of opportunity opens, just walk through the door because you can always walk back out the door.
You can always walk back out.
So I did it and it's been the best decision ever.
I was going to say, it must be scary because you're also on camera. Being on camera for the first time is always overwhelming. Not to mention, that's a huge production, a massive production on Bravo.
Yes.
That's that's a big deal. Like they have some very, very loyal customers, Bravo, right?
Oh yeah. Like they're really great people too. I had no idea what I was getting into. It was mind blowing. And,
because how many, there's 7 or 8 seasons?
12 on Below Deck Original, or 13.
Holy moly.
The show I'm on, in its 10th year.
Okay.
So I did it for 9.
That's probably what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah.
All right.
It's going. I don't see it stopping because it's very popular.
Of course.
It's incredible. The people, everything evolves, right? Just like we do in life.
Sure.
We learn, we're open. I love production. Everybody in production, we evolve together. I had to learn to step back a little more and allow the TV to happen because in my industry, there's no TV, right? You either do your job, the client's happy, you're making the boss money, or you don't have a job, period.
Basically, yeah.
Yes. Television's a little different. Mistakes are allowed to happen. And of course, they are in the big picture too. The reality is that they're casted. I'm not hiring. I hire the crew before on a boat.
Right. Because you need to have your team set because it's still a regular job.
It's a regular job.
It's just getting filmed with like these variables that are thrown in.
Yes. Nothing's made up.
Right.
People really act like that. As you could see, alcohol plays a big part of it.
Sure.
Sometimes. And sometimes it's just their personality. You have all walks of life, which I love, different nationalities, different cultures, and they find their way. And that's what I love. And any moment that I have in front of them, and I just talk to them. So many things happen that's not on camera, where we have real conversations. And it's not always about drugs or alcohol, but it's just about life and decision making. And when we removed the alcohol and drugs, we learned how to make decisions because we sucked at that, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were not good decision makers because it got us in jail or institutions. And really, that's it. The mental health part. Some people have sex. Some people gamble. Some people do drugs. Some people do alcohol. And some people are just suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And so to be able to have those conversations and give them a little bit of light really means a lot to me.
I feel like it's one of the best, like the 12 steps, the process of it was like, because it's not really about alcohol at that point, right? It's really not. It's a thinking thing. Alcohol is kind of the symptom. But what the program does is, for me at least, it was like a self-help process, right? And it's also, for me, it was an introduction to myself. It was really because I had a facade out there of what I wanted the world to see because I was scared that if you saw the real me, you wouldn't like me, right? And so it's really just combining these two worlds of this facade that you put out and then like who I really am as a person. And at the end of the day, that's what the 12 steps allowed me to do was become authentic, right? And then through that, learn how to love myself, because that was a big issue too.
Yeah.
That was why I used. And then eventually like the whole alcohol thing kind of just disappears.
Yeah.
And you become comfortable with who you are. And then the world, the most profound stuff I've ever heard, the most inspirational people I've ever met, the smartest people in the world I've ever met are in the rooms.
It's true. It's yes.
I love to go to meetings because I know I'm going to learn something.
Yeah.
I hated school, but learning how to deal with life, that's fun for me because it feels like a chess game, right? Because life is lifey. Life throws stuff at you that you didn't even see coming, like a motorcycle accident, right? And how do you deal with that?
We learn that in the rooms.
Right.
We learn that. And that's the thing. Like our minds, we could go either way. So we have to learn to pause. Those slogans, think.
Mm-hmm.
First things first. They mean something.
I hated them at first too.
I know. It was like, it's so like cliche, right?
Yeah.
But they're actually, it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
And I use that even in my career. Pause. First things first, right? What's first?
Yeah.
And you stop yourself from going down that rabbit hole and you just take a breath.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I was driving down the road and I was complaining to my friend about something and I was rah, 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 rah. And she goes, Sandy, pull the car over. We're on the phone. I pull the car over. She goes, look at where your feet are.
Yeah.
She goes, is it really happening where your feet are? And I go, no. She goes, then leave it in the past and find a solution.
I love that.
Yes. And so now I always look at where my feet are. And if it's not matching where my head is, I just stay where my feet are. And it's these little things matter.
Yeah, they
do.
do.
So if I can teach these young adults how to do that and not go down that rabbit hole, then that's why I'm there.
Sure.
And I have these conversations. They don't really show them on television. Sometimes they do, but there's a lot of footage. And even yesterday, I was at the boat show with a couple people from the show. And I just said, just be real.
Mm-hmm.
Just lean into it. If you make a decision to do something and you did it, just admit it. It's so freeing.
Yeah.
The purgatory of the in-between is torture.
Right.
I'd rather just admit it, take it, and move on.
Mm-hmm. I forget, somebody had said something along the lines of, that gap between thought and execution or decision and then execution is like one of the most important windows of your life. The quicker you can go from thought to execution, the better the outcome is, right?
Yeah.
Because if you give your head too much time to think about something, it's going to screw it up. It's going to screw it up big time.
Even at work, I got an email from a guy. He's actually from here and he owns a bank. I worked for him. And I did something at a charter show, which I thought was fine. But I forgot that I had a broker coming. So I let all the crew go and the boat wasn't uncovered. And the broker wrote this horrible email about me and went to the boss. And I got one sentence: call me to discuss, with the email that was written about me. So, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to fire me. Like, the head went there and he picked the phone up and he goes, explain. That's all he said. And I go, I forgot. I honestly forgot. He goes, oh, I knew it was something like that. Don't let it happen again. Clunk. That was my phone. That was it.
Sure.
And that's all it took.
Because you've been a great employee up until this point. People don't just like throw people away because of a mistake.
Right.
You know, we think about that. I think about that all the time. I was in finance actually for a long time myself. And it was very high pressured. And I always thought like, at least the way it felt, I'm not saying that's what was implied, but the way it felt was you're only as good as your last whatever. Right. And if your last whatever was a mistake, then you got this chip on your shoulder almost that you have to like prove yourself more now. And that became an impossible task of perfection, right? We always talk about wanting to be perfect, right? Yeah. It's the same thing as me putting on that front for people. I want you to see the perfect Jack, or I want you to see the perfect person that like, you know, because if you saw this flawed person, you wouldn't like me sort of thing, right? But that perfectionism, God, I chased that forever.
Yeah.
Being able to just accept the fact that I was, that I was human was one of the biggest like aha moments of my recovery. You know, being like, oh, it was okay. It was just a mistake. And everybody makes them. I'm sitting here thinking, I give so much grace to people who make mistakes, but I can't do it for myself for some reason. Right.
Yeah.
And that's the ism of alcoholism, in my opinion.
Exactly.
You know, we're so hard on ourselves.
Yeah. You know, the other part I had to learn as well was family. Like, you don't have to take care of them.
No.
So for a long time, I always felt guilty that they're still suffering. So I had to learn to let go and let God. And I still today struggle. I just had a phone call with my sister and she's like, well, I'm going to get kicked out. And I said, well, I'm not worried because I know you'll be okay. I don't have to rescue people anymore. I don't feel like I actually feel okay about it because I help my family a lot. But then there's the point where if you continue bailing them out, they're not going to learn. Just like if I kept getting bailed out, I wasn't going to learn.
No.
And so those moments are hard and it's difficult, but I know I'm doing the right thing because that's what was done for me. Mm-hmm. And the only way I learned is because someone said, you'll be okay.
You're going to be okay.
Yes, because it's true. It will all be okay. Like if you're in that moment where you feel like, oh my God, I'm going to be homeless, going to be this, it'll work out because you will do the next right thing to make it work out.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as you're doing that, it will work out for sure.
Yes, as long as you're doing that, it will work out for sure.
I mean, it takes some action and some execution for sure. But like, if it's the next right thing, and that's as simple as I have to keep my life. Honestly, it could just be unloading the dishwasher.
Yes.
You know, it's like that was the next right thing at the moment. And then it's like, oh, okay, now I got to go, for a walk or, whatever it may be. And it's just always like, what's the most important thing in front of me at the moment? Do I get an email? I always try to prioritize my time. I have this weird like Franklin Covey thing that I do where it's like important and urgent, not important, but urgent but not important, and then not urgent and not important. And you have these 4 quadrants and essentially you just try to keep your time in like, I slot emails in there, I slot whatever, and responding to life in general. And that is like one of the best tools I have for like, identifying what the next right thing is. Right.
Yeah.
Cause I know I don't know about you, but I get lost on a social media hole. No problem. Like I'll lose an hour in a heartbeat. I open up my phone to a social media app and then anybody seen Jack? That's gone for an hour.
I got to tell you, I'm the opposite. I just can't stand my phone. I don't like it. Social media is hard for me. Yes, I have to do it because 2026, I'm making a
contractually obligated?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
But the people, they want to know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, God, okay, I get it. Like that's something I have to tackle in 2026. I've committed to myself because I'm taking the month of December off because I haven't stopped and I'm not doing anything. And January, I'm full throttle. I'm going to be better. That is my goal, is to learn more on how to do it, to slot the times and say, okay, for 1 hour, social media.
Right.
From maybe 9 to 10.
Not at night, I hope.
Not at night. In the morning.
That'll ruin your sleep.
No, in the morning.
Yeah.
So,
Trust me, it'll ruin your sleep.
Yeah, no, I don't do that at night.
Yeah.
Because I'm too tired.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm too tired. And I thought today when I was driving the car, like, I just want to learn. I want to read more. I stopped reading. I want to read more. I started watching TV because I'm into TV now. Because I'm on TV, so I'm watching all these shows.
Sure.
It's like, okay, turn it off and start reading more.
I noticed if I don't put something on my calendar, it usually, like stuff like that, it usually doesn't get done. It's like, I remember I always set a goal, usually in January, like my New Year's resolution, read 10 books this year, you know? I think I finish one sometimes if I'm lucky. I'll start 3 of them, but I'll finish one. My parents read a lot when I was a kid, and that was an example that was set for me. I just have never been one to be able to like look at words on a page and not fall asleep, like I wasn't even good in school.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would love to do it because that's where knowledge is, right? And knowledge is pure power. My sponsor tells me that all the time. That's what we pray for. Knowledge of his will and the power to carry it out, right? Because knowledge is pure power. I don't know. That's how I feel. And that's why I love going to the meetings and stuff and talking to people about this life stuff. Chances are any problem that you have, somebody's already been through before.
Yeah. And
the fact that we get vulnerable and with each other is really where the power is, right?
I love meetings. I love the people in the meetings. I love the raw and the real. I love them. Like, I love the conversations that we have. They're so real. So people go, okay, if I can hang out with these famous people or my friends in meetings, I'm going to choose my friends in meetings.
100%.
They're just real conversations, and I feel so good. And I've never been more comfortable in my life than I am in those rooms around my friends.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's the only place where I like I worry sometimes going out of the house if I got like a 5 o'clock shadow going, or I didn't shave from the night before, or maybe like I'm not fully ironed or whatever it may be, right? All the self-conscious things that I tell myself, but like I'll pick my ass up and go to a meeting in my fucking bathrobe. Like I just like they're not judging me.
No, not at all. Yes.
They're like glad to see me at a meeting.
Yes, absolutely. What a great, where else can you do that?
I don't know. It's pretty special. And I imagine, so since you were traveling, I remember you were saying like that first trip, was it Puerto Rico you went to? What was that first? Bahamas. Okay. So did you start going to meetings in other countries and stuff?
Yes. Oh yeah.
All right.
Well, I didn't speak the language. But
I was going to say.
I got the message, but they did have English meetings, but they also had Loners Anonymous. So it was for people who couldn't get to a meeting.
Oh.
And it was on. You would write in at the time, and then it's online. If you look it up, Loners Anonymous, you could go online. Now we have Zoom, obviously.
A lot of meetings.
It was way before that.
Yeah.
I did that. I went to meetings. I lived in Europe for a long time. I lived in Nervi outside of Genoa. I went to meetings there. I drive to Milan 2 hours. I drive to Florence for 2 hours to go to
for a meeting?
For an English speaking meeting. Otherwise, I'd sit in an Italian one and go, I get it,
The feelings are there.
The feelings are there. And the people we spoke, they didn't speak English. I didn't speak Italian, but I learned a little. And I felt better every time I left. But I would sit on that train for 2 hours to go to a meeting or drive to Florence and go to a meeting. And I did it. And I lived in Barcelona for 4 years on a boat. I went to a lot of meetings there. It's so interesting because wherever you go, there's a meeting.
Everywhere.
Yeah, it was great. And I felt I stayed sober. I felt good. I stayed connected, and that made the difference.
Sure. So when you were on these boats, because that's what I was wondering, because if you're on these boats and you're traveling that much, it must be hard sometimes because there's times where you're not close to land, right? And it's not some big cruise ship where they have a Friends of Bill meeting, right? Like you've seen those ones, right?
I read a lot.
Oh, okay. Well,
I read the big book. I read the 12 steps. And then I prayed a lot. I was really close with my higher power. Like I was close.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So that was amazing. And now I'm so distracted.
Sure. I
got to come back around. Like doing this podcast is really making me feel like, yeah, okay, Sandy, more meetings. Definitely get back to that. That's why I had to say to myself from Thanksgiving till January 1st, you're off. I'm taking that entire time off and I want to submerge in meetings.
Yeah.
And I'm going to join a book club because that's how I'm going to read a book.
They'll hold you accountable, right?
Yeah.
They'll hold you accountable. They're like, we need to talk about that chapter you were supposed to read.
Yes, exactly.
In the quiet hills of Marin County, there's a place where healing begins. A place where alcohol or drugs no longer control your life. At Live Oaks Wellness, we offer compassionate, client-centered care for those struggling with addiction. Our licensed drug and alcohol detox and residential programs are designed to help you take the first step toward recovery with a team that truly understands the journey. You don't have to walk this path alone. At Live Oaks, We're here to help you rebuild, restore, and reclaim your life. Take the first step today. Live Oaks Wellness. Healing starts here.
So did you have any trouble dealing with the fame portion of it? Because that's a big deal. Like I always, like with the guests that we have on the show, sometimes I wonder like their moment where they become more recognized than usual, right? And you can call it famous, you can call it recognized, you can call it whatever you want, but like you're getting a lot of attention. And because of that, I imagine like you're put in precarious situations as well as stressful situations, right? Yeah. Can you
yes,
maybe?
Absolutely. In the beginning, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was the ego. This is really cool, right? And then my friends check me quickly. Like, that's what I love. I have a core group who I've known for over 30 years in recovery, and they check you fast.
Yeah.
And I love that. And they brought me back down. My feet were back down on the ground. And it was a smackdown, actually. It was good. I needed it.
Yeah.
And then it grew, right? So the more I did the show, I couldn't walk through the airport. People would scream in the bathroom. And then people would come up to me and start crying and say, you really helped me. Some people talk about the inspiration, the hope. You know, Napoleon said leadership is a dealer in hope. In recovery, hope comes from action, right? Mm-hmm. So we learn to take the action. Mm-hmm. And so now in this example, walking around that's sober, I have to show up in a way, which is a lot of pressure, where I can't say, not now. I just need a minute. When people come up to me and they're so happy to see me, and this just happened at the boat show, I was exhausted. The amount of people, the energy that it takes. And I told my friends, I can't take another picture. And so when I went to the restaurant, we were all at lunch, I faced the wall. And the friend goes, this lady's like stalking you. So when I turned around, they were from Charleston. Mm-hmm. And they were so excited to see me. And then they start telling me the story. And how can you not engage? I'm put on this planet. I'm given this show to show up for people. But I have to learn how to fill my cup up. So that's why I'm taking off the month of December. So I'm just going to be with my family.
Good.
I'm not, my friends are with my friends and take care of myself. So I have that energy when I go out. Yeah, it's hard. And Leah will say to me sometimes, maybe not eat like that. I go, I'm hungry. Yeah. As everyone's filming. And the other day I saw this guy, he was taking a picture and I just looked up and smiled and he goes, I'm sorry. I go, well, come and get a picture, And I've learned when people come and sit at my table without asking because they've been drinking and my friends are getting mad, I just say, oh my gosh, let's go back to your table and meet your friends. I'm kind because they're just excited and they didn't have the courage until they drank that courage, Mm-hmm. So anyway, I do my best. There are times when I'm like, not today. Yeah. But still, I find it in me because I'm put on this for a reason. There's a social responsibility now. I have to fulfill that. And I want to because the viewers continue to watch because I still have a job, right? So I got to pay it forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you never saw this coming, I imagine, right?
Not at all.
When we first get into recovery, everybody always says, write down 10 things, what you want your life to look like after a year of sobriety, or like, the things you want. And people will say, oh, a new car, a girlfriend or a fiance, some money in the bank, and maybe a house, and it's like, you will underestimate, what God has in store for you, right?
It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Like television, not in a million years. Right. First of all, I never dressed the part. I was a redneck, Secondly, I never really wore makeup. I was a mess. And then I started seeing myself on television. I go, well, maybe I should just start putting makeup on. And then maybe I do my hair a little better. And everyone tells me to brush my hair. I go, every time you see me on TV, they're knocking on my door to get me out of bed because something's going on. So yeah, do I have time? Sometimes I don't. Like in real life, being a captain, you're not in front of your mirror. No,
nor does it matter. They're knocking on your door for a reason, right? Yes. It's like there's a hole in the boat. Let me check my hair.
There's a fire. One season I did, I didn't even hear the alarm go off because I had the blow dryer and they're like, fire! So I came out of my cabin with wet hair and there's the cameras and it was a smoldering fire happening. All the guests were in the main salon, and so was I with my wet hair.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How big is the boat the actual boat that you,
Different sizes. So the biggest one I ever ran was 192.
holy mackerel.
This last, I think, what boat's airing now? Bravado is a 147, I think. The last Mystique was 180 something. They're all different.
Those are islands.
They're fun. Honestly, the bigger they are, the easier they are.
Really?
You have a crew. You have they're a lot heavier. They're less affected by wind and current. But it's a lot more stressful because it's a lot more money.
Well, you also, I was going to say like a cargo ship, not to mention the fact that like turning around a cargo ship takes a long time, right? So like to maneuver that thing, like you got to be well in advance, like see things well in advance, right?
And trust your crew.
Yeah.
So, and that's it. It's like building trust. So every time I come on a boat, I meet these crew for the first time. I meet the boat for the first time. And when I sit the crew down, I say, I trust you. I respect you. I know it's my job to earn your trust and respect. They have to respect the position as captain, but they don't have to as a person, right? I have to earn that because I'm in leadership and they're hired. So I have to trust them until they show me they can't be trustworthy. I always respect people because that's a given for me.
Yeah.
I think I give trust. And when people say trust is earned, after you break trust, it's earned. I believe in trusting people.
Right off the bat.
Right off the bat. And then if they break it, you got to earn it.
Yeah. And it could take a while depending upon what the infraction, right?
Yeah. Because when you trust someone right off the bat, they don't want to disappoint you.
I agree.
Yeah.
I've noticed, at least in my profession, that when you tell people that and when you actually mean it, it empowers them. It empowers them to, want to get the job done properly.
Yeah.
You know?
And they do. And I can tell you right now, all the crew that I've had in the past before Below Deck, I have their respect and trust. We're like family because we have each other's back. And that's what I learned in recovery. I had my own back. I'm going to have your back and we're going to do this together. We're in it together, just like we are in the meetings, right? So we're in it together.
We are in the midst of the worst drug crisis in U.S. history.
The CDC has named fentanyl deadliest drug in the United States.
The drug is fentanyl.
My name is Jeremy, and I'm a recovering fentanyl addict. I've overdosed more times than I can count. I believe I was revived so I could carry the message to the addict that still suffers. Silence makes you complicit. You either recover loudly or you die quietly. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to help you save your own life.
Learn more at recoverordie.org.
So do you think that the 12 steps in general you obviously apply them in your life, right? That's been clear, even though you didn't actually come out and say that. I think that's very clear. And that's how your leadership is. But when you're on a boat, it's a little bit different. Do you find that it's hard to practice the principles when you're on the ship sometimes?
Of course. I'm tired. Listen, sleep. We're taught, take care of ourselves, right? Proper sleep. Make sure you eat. What is it?
Hungry, angry, lonely, tired?
Yeah, halt, right? So that I have to practice more than anything.
Sure.
Because it's very demanding. So sleep is so important for me. Anyone, right? Because your mind starts going places and short fuse. Like, yes, of course. You know what I do? When I know I'm ready to lose my mind on someone, like lose my shit completely, I pop into my cabin. I play a song. I ask God to redirect me. Because I'm their captain, right? I don't want to destroy their spirit.
No.
I want to come out and give them encouragement.
Plus, you're on the water. You're still going to need them for a while.
Yes. There's that.
Right?
Yes.
There's a timing. There's a delivery.
Yes.
There's some tact that needs to go along with it.
Even when I fire them, I don't want to destroy them.
No.
So I want to build them up as I fire them.
Yeah, make it a learning experience.
Yes, exactly.
Listen, anything that's ever bad in my life or what I considered bad at the time, generally speaking, was a great lesson learned, you know, including blowing my entire life up, the way you said it with after, 14 treatment centers or what have you. And then to finally start actually wanting to do it and then getting that quick get well job, which you thought was just washing boats, but turning into a career is just amazing. Those stories happen all the time in these rooms, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard stories where there was a guy that ended up, unfortunately killing somebody in a DUI accident. He owns a DUI school now. And as a result of that happening, he's probably saved more lives. And as far as I'm concerned, has kind of made restitution with,
Yes.
and not just that, but like the amount of people he helps inside the rooms as well. Right. I mean, that whole thing, it's just powerful stuff. You hear the homeless guy that becomes the CEO of a company or what have you.
Exactly.
The comebacks, like we love these stories. There's a reason why we asked you to come on the show, right? Is because like, you're special, but you're not any more special than anybody, right? It's all on the table. This is what's on offer for people when they get sober.
Yes. And it can all go away the minute you pick up.
Absolutely. And in some cases it has to. I don't know why people have to learn lessons, but, it is scary. But, as far as I'm concerned, the moment you stop learning is when you stop having a chance.
Yeah.
Yes,
absolutely. And I know so many times, especially on the boat, drinking, there have been moments where I was just like, oh my gosh, I would love to have a drink.
Right.
Because I just don't want to feel.
Mm.
It's in those moments where I have to really tap in because it's there.
Tap in. Can you, so I know what you mean.
Yes.
But for the viewers, so tapping into
my friends, calling someone saying, hey, this actually crossed my mind. You better check me, like tell me how I used to be, tell me where it'll go. Remind me, calling my sponsor. If no one's on the phone, hitting my knees, asking God. You know what I do a lot of? I breathe in peace and out calm. And that changes my thought.
I'm a huge breather.
Me too.
I mean, that's how I start my day. That's how I end my day too. Yeah. I actually can't fall asleep, believe it or not. I fall asleep quickly as a result of like I don't know if you've ever heard of Wim Hof.
No.
Wim Hof, they call him the Iceman. So he created these breathing techniques to where like he's the original cold plunger, but he did it in like the actual nature, right? Like actual Arctic or somewhere where there's like ice water. And he would go and he was on this spiritual journey of his own, I think because he lost his wife or something and was trying to figure out why, right? The why, trying to figure out why his wife was taken from him and this and that. And went out there and created these breathing techniques to where like his body doesn't change temperature, like to his fingertips. They've done tests like where his fingertips don't lose temperature as a result of the way he breathes. And it's something like where you take like 10 super deep breaths and then hold it for as long as you possibly can, breathe out very slowly, and then do it again and do like 3 sets of it. And by the time you're in your 3rd set, for me at least, I'm asleep. I think it's Gary Brecka. He helped Dana White with the UFC get healthy again. And he does this thing where he's like, you got to ground yourself in the morning. So even putting your feet on the ground and, letting the magnetic field pull all that, bad energy out of you, essentially, drink some water in the morning and then breathe, and that alone will set your day off on a good mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The breathing is key for me. Like it changes me. It gives me energy. And I like going outside in the morning. I keep my pool at jacuzzi level.
Nice.
Yeah. So walking the dog, right? So you're walking on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Getting the blood flowing.
Getting
the oxygen in the lungs, feeling as far as I'm concerned, like that's the whole purpose of going out in nature too, right? Being out on the water, the air's just different, right?
Our backyard is trees. And I love hearing the wind in the trees.
Mm.
Just being in nature really changes your mood.
It does. And I believe that's where God is.
Yeah.
Personally, it's where I'm able to access him, for some reason. Because I look around and I'm like, we didn't create this.
Right.
Somebody did. Something did. It's not up for me and I don't have to put shoes and socks on it, right? So like you had mentioned, you love God too. And that's a big deal. There's a lot of people in recovery that, it keeps them out of the rooms as a result, it keeps them out of doing 12-step programs or even recovery in general the moment they hear the word God. And it's like, I get it. I went to Catholic school. As far as I'm concerned, I wasn't introduced to the God I have today, my understanding, until I went to AA, right? Like I got reintroduced to God. There was this concept of it that was taught to me when I was a child, but not anything. He doesn't look anything like the one. And I don't know what mine looks like now. I just can feel his presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I look at it like this. God loves me so much. He gives me free will to choose. My choices, I have direct consequences or great things will happen. I don't feel punished. I think the punishment comes from my choices. There has to be, what did they say? Back in the day, they said, if you're not responsible, if you were drunk and you had a car crash, right? But you're accountable, because when you add the drugs or alcohol, you're not of right mind. So it doesn't really make you responsible, but you have to be accountable for your behavior.
Interesting.
And that's what I was taught. I have to be accountable. God loves me so much. I have a choice. I have choices.
Yeah.
What I choose, either I have to be accountable, as long as I don't use or drink anything, and I just do the next right thing, it's going to be great.
Sure.
You know?
Well, they talk about God's will and our will, right? And
Yeah.
when we take our will back, I hear that all the time. They'd be like, you sound like you're in self-will, Jack. It's like,
Yes.
I'm going to go do this. I don't think that's a good idea, Jack.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway. And it's like, I put my hand over that stove before and it burned and I'm going to go do it again, right? Like my buddies will be like, bro, this is the same exact thing as you did a year ago. Like, what's going on? I always talk about checking my motives. Right? My motives are so important. Like, what are my motives? What am I trying to get out of something? And if it's anything like any of the 7 deadly sins, usually it's my will.
Yeah.
And if it's something more altruistic, it's usually God's will. If I'm thinking about other people, I know the decision is right.
Yeah. It's interesting. My sponsor explained it like this. She goes, you get a credit card, right, Sandy? You're at zero, right? So you're not in debt. And you're not plus. But you get this credit card, has a lot of money on it. You start using it. You're starting to you're going in the negative, right? And it's the same thing in the world. And she goes, and by the time you run out of money on your credit card, now you have to make that all up and pay it back. So you're at a deficit. So either stay neutral in the middle or stay positive. So basically earn your money and then save it and then go buy what you need. I had to learn that even in life, in my decision making with my friends. Like, either I'm going to put that in or it's going to be taken away from me. It's the same thing. I don't know if I explained it right, but.
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of ways I could take that, right?
Yeah.
For me, it's, they always talk about being in a deficit, meaning like you can't transmit something you don't have either, right? And so like people that work in recovery, they talk about, your cup having to be a certain amount so that you can, otherwise, if your cup isn't where it needs to be to share something with somebody, like all you're doing is hurting yourself at that point, and then you're not helpful to anybody.
Exactly.
Right? And so
That's
again, it comes down to like, if you're in a deficit, make sure you can get back up to zero so you can help somebody again.
Yes. Or in the positive.
Or in the positive, right? You're going to have a great 2026, or at least an opportunity to start a 2026 with a month off. That's huge.
It's a lot. Yeah, I do a lot. And being there for when you walk down the street and someone comes up to you. I'm not always doing anything or an appearance or a podcast or whatever. Like, these are fulfilling for me. This is very fulfilling. It is showing up for the people who come up to you in the airport, because I do travel a lot.
Sure.
Even in my grocery store, no matter where I go.
Sometimes you just don't want to be bothered either.
Yes.
It's very difficult.
So it's filling that cup up so I can be present for those people.
Good for
because
you.
there's a reason that God put me on television.
I agree.
It's certainly not making me a lot of money. You know what I mean? Bravo is great, but it's not like a movie star. Like
no.
It's different.
You're not $20 million for a Tom Cruise role.
Exactly.
This isn't that. It's a reality television show. They're known for not, being the lucrative thing, but like you get to do what you're doing anyway. It's just getting filmed.
Yes, exactly. Doors open, right? So I do a lot of public speaking, which is great. And I make sure that I always have that message in there, and I kind of drop God in a few places, because that is, in my opinion, what fills my soul.
Yeah. Yeah. They always talk about, as long as you're seeking, you'll be okay, right? Like,
there's a song, Dolly Parton sings it. It's called Seeker.
Is it?
It's a great song.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
I don't know a lot of Dolly stuff, I'll be honest.
Well, I know the country, but this is great.
No. It's not all country. I use that as an example. Listen, there's a lot of songs out there in every genre that can be depressing or sad or whatever. You know what I mean? I just use that as an example because there are a lot of drinking whiskey and breaking up with a girl.
A lot of drinking.
All that stuff. Like, it's
totally.
Very depressing. Yeah. So,
I listen to a lot of gospel music, to be honest. Like, before I go on stage and speak, I listen to inspirational songs to fill my cup up, to trigger something.
Sure.
Because I can talk about leadership all day, but what I want to reach their heart.
Mm-hmm.
I want to reach their hearts, not talk about leadership is self-leadership, right? Because that's what we do all the time in recovery. If we don't lead ourselves first and we're not prepared to walk out into society, we're going to bring all that crap with us and be that, person. And we don't want to create more havoc. We want to bring, calm, sanity, spirit. I listen to a lot of gospel music. It fills my heart. It fills my soul.
Well, people in recovery can spot a fucking fake too,
That's
real
right.
quick, right? So like when you're going out to these events, I imagine, and listen, if you listen to gospel music, like it does something to your soul, right? It sets your soul on fire. If you could transmit that, like in those moments, I imagine it's way more powerful.
It's incredible because you're filled up from the inside.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. And there are times I just did a speech, oh my gosh, in Jacksonville before I left. And I wasn't organized. I was tired. My PowerPoint wasn't in. And then I just started telling the truth. And I always thought, I don't have to make something up. And people go, oh, you're a great speaker. I go, because I'm just honest.
Yeah, it's the authenticity portion of it.
Yes. And I said, I'm not prepared. I told the truth. And I'm really sorry. And it wasn't, it was hilarious. And they laughed. But every person came up to me and they said, you inspired me. I talked about my recovery. I talked about my arrest. I talked about how I came out of the hole.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about if someone in your life is suffering, there is hope. There is help. I always go there. And I'm an example right here. If you invest in someone, sometimes not closing the door on them, but opening another door, maybe into a treatment center, like here is a treatment center.
Sure.
Doing that 12-step call.
Yeah.
Getting them into treatment, at least for 28 days, they're sober. Something's transforming in their mind and they may go back out again. So do it again.
Yeah.
And again.
This segment of the Pull Podcast is brought to you by Heartwood Home Detox. I remember losing a bunch of sponsees in the beginning too. People would come up to you, ask you to sponsor or whatever it is, and then they go back out before they even get to step 4 or whatever it was. And I remember my sponsor saying, "You're batting 100%." And I said, "What do you mean?" I was like, "They just don't stick around." And he goes, "You just need to be there." And so you got to stay sober, and as a result of that, like you're batting 100.
Yes.
And I like that, except it still feels bad that you like weren't able, but we can't help people, right? Because you have you were doing a podcast with Leah, right?
Yeah, we're going to do it again in January.
Amazing. So I saw something on there where you were talking about leading a horse to water. You can't make him drink, but you can shove his face in it.
Phil Stiles told me that.
Right?
Years ago, I would frequent this detox because every time I got arrested, I'd go take me to Glenridge in Bradenton. I'm an alcoholic. And they did. And he would say to me, if he can, you can lead a horse to water. Because someone said, you'll never get sober. And he goes, but we could surely put your face in it. Yep. He told me that. You can lead a horse to water and you can't make them drink, but you can put their face in it.
Yeah, you can't. And that's the whole idea behind making it as attractive as possible. I think you're doing a great job. I could totally see how like you going up on stage and winging it is more profound probably than something that you like actually thought about and wrote out. You know what I mean? Like where you're reading from a cue card or whatever and really just speaking from the soul, especially if you listen to gospel music right before it, right?
Yeah. Because I know someone in that audience is suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Oh, it's going to land.
Yeah.
And even if it's just one person, it's worth it.
Yes, exactly. Because life is not easy all the time.
No, ma'am.
It's what we make of it.
Sure is.
It's all about our outlook.
Are you able to recall, maybe one of the single most powerful lessons you had mentioned? Was it Bill Stiles or, and some of these other mentors and some of the ladies that were smoking in the rooms, in the beginning? Other mentors, things that you've heard. You have any sayings that you like live by, mantras?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not to put you on the spot or anything.
No,
or to break anybody's anonymity for that matter.
No guts, no glory. Right. So that was something my boss said to me because I was afraid. Mm-hmm. Whatever you call it. I always say to myself, when I start to get afraid, no guts, no glory. I have to walk through that fear.
Oh, it's big.
Fear is paralyzing, right? So I just think about what John said. The same guy. No guts, no glory. Because I remember.
Funny because that's like more like it feels like a sports slogan.
Okay, it is because it was a boat. I didn't want to drive it into New York where, 9/11 happened. We used to go to that marina, North Cove. And I go, John, I can't. And he goes, no guts, no glory. He drove the boat right in. And so there was another time he did it again. And I go, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And I did it. And I was like, oh, I could do this. I can maneuver through this current next to this bridge and this barge. I didn't hit anything. I was coming into Monaco Harbor on a following sea where the sea is behind you, where the wave pushes you in a direction where you don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be going faster than the wave. I didn't anticipate a cruise ship be sitting in the Monaco Harbor.
Oh, boy.
When I made that corner, I looked at the first officer. I go, I'm going to make a wide turn. I needed affirmation. And I needed that. And he goes, yeah, good idea. I needed to hear that. Even though I knew that, I needed the affirmation. I kept thinking, no guts, no glory. There's a point of no return where you have to commit because there's no way out unless you're going to crash, right? So I had production on the lower deck. There was a cement wall in that stupid cruise ship. And I thought, if I hit the wall, I kill them. If I hit the cruise ship, I just hurt them because I'm thinking about all the people. I'm thinking about lives.
That's crazy.
And then the point of no return happened. And I thought, no guts, no glory. And I have never been more laser focused in my life. Right. So I made it in. And the moment I got in, and I have a video of my hands on the throttles because the girl behind me was doing this. I thought, is she breathing for me or herself? Because she could see what I could see. And you see my hands do this with the throttles because right after I made it past the point of no return without killing anyone or hurting anyone, these little kids on little laser boats crossed my bow. I almost ran them over. So the throttles, you see my hand go fully back and the boats start bouncing because it started to cavitate. And I thought, oh my gosh, just when you think you've made it with the glory, that happened.
Yeah.
And that night I laid in bed and my old boss called me, his wife, John's wife. I go, Fran, remember that time in Key West where I said, John, I'm not doing it? And he goes, no guts, no glory. And he came in. I go, I had that happen today. And I told her the whole story.
Sure.
But the timing of everything. And that for me is don't be paralyzed by fear. Commit to what you've done because now there's a point of no return. So you might as well commit and see it through.
Yeah.
I use that a lot.
That's great. That's huge. I never even thought about it in recovery that could be a good mantra, but it makes a lot of sense to me because walking through fear, at least for me, I was afraid of everything when I got sober. And that's actually one of the reasons I drank. When I was drinking, I didn't mind firing off that email or, having some sort of altercation or maybe going up and talking to that pretty girl or, whatever it may be, right? I just didn't have any of that. There was the fear was gone, but you take away alcohol and now all of a sudden, I'm afraid of my shadow and all the firsts that you have to do when you get sober, right? All the things that are super scary in the beginning, whether it's getting back behind the wheel of a car or, all those things. You weren't driving boats before you got sober though. So it was all, new stuff anyway. But I imagine it's I remember I didn't even get my license until I was 20 or 21 because I was drunk the whole time. It was, from 16 or 17 on, every day. It was I didn't even need a license because my buddies drove and there's a lot of firsts, but being able to walk through those things and realizing that it's your brain, I believe it's your addiction actually. Yeah. That's actually holding you back from becoming something that you were meant to be.
I agree.
I think that's a lot of the ism that's not spoken about too much.
I had one other one that I often use is slow as pro because not everything you have to charge after. Sometimes you just slow as pro. And that's everything I'm talking about is in navigation.
Sure.
Because especially with the boat, because the crew would be like, oh my God, when's she going to dock? When's she going to dock? You never know what's going to happen. So what if I lost an engine? So I explained this to the crew. They go, why do you go so slow? I go, what if I lose an engine? And I'm doing 6 knots. I'm going to hit the dock at 6 knots. So I'd rather hit the dock at 2 knots and not 6 knots. Maybe I won't kill anyone. So I use that slow as pro. And then, when you're with people, we always say teamwork makes the dream work. And that's so true. And that's, for me, those are the things that I use. But I always go back to the rooms and the slogans there, first things first. And I guide myself what's first, especially on the bridge, because I'm usually on the bridge of a boat. And that's the situation room, like in the White House, where everything's coming to the bridge and you're sorting problems and you're prioritizing. And what do I do first? You have clients, you have crew, you got the boss, and you want to make money apart from television, right? My real career. And so I use those slogans more than anything.
I always pray for people to have a slow recovery. And they're always like, why? Like, I was like, because if you get it back too quick, also, you probably can't appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden their life looks the same as it did before they blew it up. Within 3 months, they're not going to be able to appreciate it, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I always pray for a slow recovery for people personally.
You know, Winston Churchill said, fear is a reaction and courage is a decision. And this all relates to boats, right? Because it's usually in bad weather or in a docking situation with a lot of wind and commit because there's a point of no return, or you're going to kill someone or hurt someone.
Right.
And so I always think of that. Okay, this is a reaction. Okay, this is courage. And basically, courage is walking through fear, period.
100%.
And that's really it. So for me, those are the things that I really go to because I have that self-talk. Are you going to be afraid and stay and not do anything? Or are you going to have some courage and commit?
Yeah.
You know? So.
I think people are held back by fear so much. I just don't think they realize it. Part of the cool part about getting sober is, yes, it sucks that we had to blow our life up to be able to have this thing, but it's still a gift that it's even happened because it's almost like a superpower. And I say that, like, for me, I realize that I only have one life, right? And I almost feel like I'm on borrowed time, right?
Totally.
And so as a result of getting this second chance, I like to try to do things that I maybe wouldn't have before. And maybe that's not necessarily the slow is pro sort of approach, but like I'm willing to take some chances, right? And it is basically the fact that, like, I believe that there's a reason why I'm still here. I'm trying to figure out why. So I need to take as many opportunities as possible.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the essence of recovery, it's also, you know, obviously to help people. But aside from that, figuring out like what your true purpose is in life.
Yeah.
And
having fun along the way.
Oh, you got to have fun.
Yes. Like if you're serious all the time and you're so focused on work, you got to have fun. And that's why I'm taking the month off. I want to have fun. I want to ride the e-foil. I want to play in the water.
You're also in town for what else is going on?
City Cruises Live.
Okay. And so that's a pretty big event, right?
It's a boat ride, a fireside chat. I get a lot of questions about why I decided to fire certain people. Right now I'm with Hannah and, you know, everybody thought we hated each other. Never. I don't hate. I have zero hate in my heart. I don't hate anyone.
We don't have that luxury.
No. And I just never even didn't dislike her. I just couldn't. I have a license. I won't risk it for anyone. So if you break the rules, I got to fire you. But we got to make amends. It's really great because, you know, I had a part in it too.
Sure. I mean, that's the best part about being in recovery as well.
And so people are asking those questions.
That's fun. See, I'm not a journalist. This isn't even a journalist thing. Yeah. I bring people on the show really just to hear their story because, well, selfishly, you know, I get power from it, right?
Yeah.
Like I love this. I'm going to be walking away fired up for the rest of the evening and probably for the rest of the weekend. So,
you know, just to summarize, I couldn't be trusted. I was arrested. I would steal your car. I would steal anything that was in front of, you know, I would take it, whatever. It was mine. It wasn't, you know, whatever. It was there for me. And then I got sober. You know, I was homeless. I was couch surfing, you know, whoever would take me in and not trustworthy. And then I got clean. And all those things that I used to be, I'm not anymore. I'm the opposite of that.
Sure.
Like we do in the 4th and 5th step.
Yeah.
And we build that character 6, 7, and 8, right? So we prepared a clean house.
My dad always told me there's only 2 kinds of days. And my dad's in recovery, by the way. But he says there's only two types of days, Jack. He said there's good days and there's character building days.
Yeah.
And he goes, and if you're lucky, you get a lot of character building days.
Yeah.
Because that just means you're getting prepared for something bigger.
Yeah.
Right? As far as I'm concerned.
And if we stay humble and we say, yes, we sucked at that today, but that's okay. I'm not a bad person. I want to do different. You're going to get that opportunity to be different in the next opportunity. And that's what I do. Like even in my relationship, boy, you want to change? Get in a relationship.
Amen. That's where I got to go after this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be fired up for it and in a good mood. So she'll be happy.
Yeah. I know. Leah and I do great. Like, you know why? Because we don't want to hurt each other.
Right.
And every time we do something stupid, we remember that. And so we give grace. I taught her the word do-over.
Mulligan.
She taught me the word grace.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, and the grace means that you don't get to bring the past up.
No.
In the present. In the present mistake.
Right.
Leave it back there. I always say this. I own my past. I've learned a lot, but I'm not going to bring it in today in today's argument.
No scorekeeping.
No scorekeeping.
No scorekeeping.
Yeah.
Well, listen, thank you again for coming out here. We really appreciate it. It's been a true pleasure. And I wish you the best of luck with life and everything. I look forward to following your path because now you got another fan over here.
Yeah. Thank you. Ditto.
All right.